Today it is not uncommon for people to buy candles with scents like frozen lake, or snowy peachberry, or butterfly. Apparently scented candles have been growing in popularity, and as they have, it has brought into question just what these things are actually made of and what that means for the people who are burning them inside of their houses. Now, before you say that this doesn't matter, because who the hell cares about candles, let me blow your mind. In 2022, Bath & Body Works made an average of $3 million per store. They sell a lot of weird stuff, but they sell a hell of a lot of candles. They've even made candle binges a thing, and they have novelty candles and weird scented candles, and it's just weird. And I don't know how I feel about it.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Melody. I'm the editor of this video, and I'm here because, yes, I used to work at Bath & Body Works. I can confidently say Bath & Body Works pushes an insane consumerism lifestyle. Our biggest sale of the year was always Candle Day. This is when grown women would line up outside the store before we opened with shopping carts and crates and end up leaving with like 30 plus 3-wick candles, which is just insane. Now, I only worked in a small town Canadian location, not even the US, and we would sometimes average $30,000 a day. So if you're wondering if it's true, yeah, you can't escape the Bath & Body Works sales.
But Melody's testimonial isn't the end of it. People are absolutely obsessed with BBW candles, and YouTube has tons of content for the people who can't get enough.
It's because when you burn it, it smells like creamy couches and menopause. You know, like a Nancy Meyers movie. 4 stars.
There's entire subreddit threads devoted to showing off candle collections of like 50 or more in a single house. There are actual Bath & Body Works addicts. But in our research into this, we learned that this isn't even the craziest part, because scented candles are sketchy as hell. Now, for all of you candle noobs like myself, a candle is really just a fuel, wax, and the wick. Back in the good old days, we used tallow and just dump it on a string and make a basic candle out of it. But that is not what is going to sell to white ladies at the mall. If you are going to sell anything in the 21st century, you have to make it more complicated and you have to give the shoppers more choice. So today you are not just choosing between tallow or beeswax, but between champagne toast and frosted coconut snowball and flannel. I didn't even know that there was a smell for flannel, but in a weird sort of way, I feel like I do know what flannel smells like. Maybe that's the point. Maybe I'm starting to appreciate candles. Now, at the time of writing this script, Bath & Body Works alone had 119 different 3-wick candles listed on their website. Candles which are apparently being constantly updated to suit each possible season or situation or sensation that you might be looking for. What you'll notice about these options, though, is that none of them focus on what the candle is actually made of, because we are so far beyond just the tallow and string thing at this point. In the world of cheap candles, it is all about the scent. But there is a lot more to a candle than just how pumpkin spicy it smells on a coffee table. First of all, we need to address the elephant in the room, which is the health claims. There is an intuition here that has gone around that there is something intuitively concerning about breathing in fumes from something whose label looks like this. Especially when it's something that smells so obviously synthetic, right? I'm not alone here in thinking this. But before you bring out your pitchforks and get ready in the comments section, yes, I do in fact understand that just because you can't pronounce a particular ingredient or any of the ingredients on this list does not make it something that is inherently unhealthy. So we got our writing team to do some dirty digging on it. That's why we have writers who do all this research so that I look smart. Now, of course, scented candles function by releasing fumes into the air. So there is a common concern that paraffin, which is one of the most common candle ingredients, which also happens to be a petroleum byproduct, could end up in our lungs and be potentially carcinogenic. People usually cite a study conducted at South Carolina State University to support this claim, which found toxic chemicals in paraffin wax candles that could potentially be harmful if inhaled. inhaled. However, that's been contested by both the National Candle Association and the Journal of Regulatory Toxicology and Pharmacology, both of which found that levels of fragrances, formaldehyde and benzene were well in the air quality exposure limits which are set by the WHO. And yes, apparently there is a National Candle Association that is doing its own research to defend the right for you to smell bubbly rosé whenever you like. So there's a lot to take in there. Then there is the issue of soot. You know, that nasty black stuff that can build up when a candle isn't quite burning quite as cleanly as you would want it to, and that can contain a number of carcinogens as well. Which might sound scary if you just forget completely about the fact that practically all of us drive cars, breathe in soot when we cook, up a stir fry or whatever, and in general are in a pretty much constant state of exposure to way greater doses of petroleum fumes and a whole bunch other stuff that you don't want to inhale.
Who would have thought that it would be so hard to find reliable sources on candles? And it turns out that it's even harder to figure out who was funding them and how reliable they were. Anytime that we look into a subject for a video, we try to make our sources as accurate and as unbiased as possible. And that's why I like using Ground News. It's an app and a website that compiles news from all over the world onto one platform, and it shows additional context that mainstream media doesn't, like how factual the reporting practices are and even who owns each publication, which can explain their motives for framing a specific story in a certain way. We found out through this story that people have been retail shopping more than what was expected. Now, because Ground News offers access to a diverse range of local and international publications, this story was highlighted with over 70 sources covering the topic, predominantly leaning towards the center. I think it's really cool to be able to see these differences. For example, a right-leaning source like the Tennessee SAR said, "Sales rose despite unexpected decline," in contrast to a left-leaning source like Japan Today, which stated, "Americans hit gas, not brakes on shopping." Same story, but different perspectives on spending depending on where you get your news from. I think what Ground News is doing is really important, and it's basically what we're also trying to do here at Future Proof. Help people make informed decisions and practice critical thinking every step of the way. Plus, they are based in Canada, just like us, so that's pretty awesome. You can check them out at ground.news/futureproof. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month or take advantage of their 40% off holiday sale for the Vantage plan to get unlimited access through our link in the description. A huge thank you to Ground News for sponsoring today's video.
So, by and large, it seems that the medical community isn't all that concerned about candles of any scent when used under normal circumstances. Maybe that's because they have more interesting and important things to be researching, but maybe they're just not that bad. And of course, we do need to disclaimer that this is talking about like the general population. Obviously, if you have allergies or some other medical concerns, then this would affect you differently. And if you lock yourself in a closet with no ventilation and 100 candles all lit up at once, you may experience some issues. It does seem wild, though, that even amongst the sea of misinformation that you can find online today, that we could find hardly any information on candles as a health concern, even from like the naturopath side of things, and you know that community's always got something to be mad about. So in a sense, that should really be the end of the video, right? But no, because we've learned in the researching of this that there is a battle waging about what to make candles out of. See, the thing is, it actually doesn't matter whether or not the candles are slowly killing you. It just matters that people think that they might be. And so we have 3 main candle materials that make up the vast majority of all candles sold today, which is paraffin, soy, and beeswax. Paraffin is the #1 candle material used today, and that's because it's cheaper than all the other options. So if you're buying anything that's not a really fancy, expensive candle, you're buying something that has mostly paraffin or has some paraffin blend in it. And we're gonna get into the blending thing in a second. Beyond cost, it's also likely that all scented candles contain paraffin because it holds all those yummy flavors really well in it for your winter cuddle puddle that you need to have cinnamon toast scented for some reason. You can just tell that I don't understand the scented candle thing at all.
Good, not great.
But like most petroleum-based products, it works really well, but it comes with some concerns. We are the organic generation, increasingly concerned with both our health and the planet, and a petroleum byproduct is anything but organic, and so therefore it is hated. Enter soy, our number 2 material. Soy has all of the millennial pro-planet buzzwords going for it. It's plant-based, it's renewable, and if you throw in the organic label, it's a triple whammy. The appeal is so obvious, right? Modern soy wax has only been around for a few decades, and yet today it seems like it's in every other candle made. Case closed, we found the savior, the candle's fine, we can all move on. Except the thing that you have to understand about soy is that on its own, it doesn't make good candles. After a quick gander onto the candle maker subreddit, we have learned that there are some frustrations of soy. I feel like we're having an intervention here. Sounds like soy is just not as stable to work with as paraffin. And even more of an issue, I've heard that soy doesn't have a very good scent throw. Yeah, not a very good scent throw with the soy-based candles. I had to look up scent throw. I mean, I kind of knew what it meant, but scent throw means like it doesn't have the ability to like hold the scent as well as paraffin does for whatever reason. Now, to add on to this, there's multiple steps involved in transforming soybean oil into a usable wax, including, sometimes quite often, adding paraffin wax. So you have all these eco-conscious consumers flocking to soy candles as an alternative to paraffin, and it turns out that the candles are still mostly made up of the thing that they were trying to avoid in the first place. And here's the thing, we have seen soy as a category doing some really heavy lifting for the eco-friendly and sustainability greenwashing of a lot of products today. While it might be better than some alternatives in some cases, the reality is soy is a massively overproduced crop responsible for enough acres of deforestation to take up the combined areas of the Netherlands, Belgium, France, and Germany combined. That's not to mention the habitat loss, destruction of ecosystems, impact on soil, water, and human rights violations associated with it. Like, I don't want to bog us down too much in that, but saying that something is soy and therefore it's good is not, you can't just, like, that's not how it works. So if we're looking for candles that aren't made from petroleum byproducts or soy, we're left with a few others. There's no others, it's beeswax. Beeswax is the other option. Beeswax candles are commonly sold unscented and undyed, though you can dye and add fragrance to them, but arguably how well in comparison to paraffin is debatable amongst the Redditors. Some people like to say that beeswax candles purify the air, even though there is absolutely no scientific backing to that claim whatsoever. Even so, they're kind of the superior candle. They even have a longer burn time than soy and paraffin, and by and large, the environmentalist community supports the use of beeswax candles mainly because they're biodegradable, and they're a renewable resource that can help support bee populations and promote diversity if it is harvested sustainably, which is like a really big if there. The big kicker though here, which I'm sure you already saw coming, is that beeswax candles are crazy expensive and paraffin and soy wax are very cheap. But soy, paraffin, beeswax, earwax, or snot bubbles aside, whatever you're making your candles with, it doesn't matter. There is a thing that this whole conversation is just missing, and it is absolutely maddening. We learned that there is actually no mandatory federal labeling requirements for candles. There is an industry standard to test candles according to ASTM standards, but those mostly regulate flammability, like flame height and the stability of it and whatnot. Candles aren't a food or a drug of any kind, so they're not going to be tested and monitored by the Food and Drug Administration. So as a result, we have huge companies making millions of dollars, like Bed Bath and Body Works. What the f is the name of this company? As a result, we have companies like Bed Bath and Body Works. As a result, we have companies like BBW being pretty shady about their processes because they're just not legally obligated to explain what they mean by things like proprietary fragrance wax blend. Does that not seem a little crazy to you? Like you can make a candle scented something stupid like dorm room burpees, and you can sell it online and not have to explain yourself even a little bit. But hey, you know what? Apparently that doesn't matter, because you know what? People don't give a f. No, they just don't. They want a nice smelling candle, Levi, and they want you to stop making a fuss about it. If you're buying candles from places like Bath & Body Works and other cheaper candle suppliers, I don't know where they are, you can say with pretty high certainty that they don't give a shit. Sure, their customer care site does say that their candles are made of a soy blend wax, but their chief goal is not to create a superior candle that's good for you and the planet. It's to turn a profit, and they are very, very good at it. I'm sure that Bath & Body Works sells a decent candle generally, but they don't have a cult following for their quality, but because they know how to sell a good deal. If you go to their website right now, I can almost guarantee that they'll have some sort of buy one, get one free sale, or a new set of seasonal things, or a special something or other that smells like the color of the sky or something. Detailed Dream talks about this more, but the whole business model reeks of fast fashion, right? You're not meant to walk in, take your time, and choose one carefully crafted scent that you'll love for hours. You're meant to feel a certain kind of pressure to get that sale and the limited editions, or to just gather it up as much as you can while the sale is there, right? And here's the thing. Obviously, I'm not a big candle guy myself. I hate the smell of synthetic bergamot or whatever, but there is a lot of people who get sucked into this stuff. I think people are addicted to scented candles because smell is a very powerful sense associated with memory. When you light a candle with a certain smell, it can remind you of home, or to relax, or of your ex. And the scented candle industry knows that this is powerful, and they are selling you the feeling that the label promises, which sadly never really pans out. We found more than one comment of people saying that the thing with Bath & Body Works is that their cheap prices get a bit of a chokehold on people. And from my perspective, doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose? For me, a noob on the outside of this culture, not understanding what it's all about, wouldn't burning a candle be something special or even ceremonial, you know, nowadays? Because like we have indoor lighting, you don't need it to see. Maybe we use those candle moments to burn something that's really nice and contributes to a feeling that isn't necessarily written on the front of the jar. And if you're a really big candle nerd, I'm sure you know this better than me. But there is definitely a local candle maker somewhere in your area, or a brand that shares your values and that's a little more transparent about what ingredients they use and why. So if you are addicted to buying candles, then please consider buying ones that give you a little bit more assurance about what is actually going up into the air that you inevitably breathe in. And Bed & Bath Body Works, or whatever the it's called. Is it Bed Bath & Beyond and Bed & Body Works? Bath & Body Works, Bed Bath & Beyond. Bed Bath & Beyond Body Works. Beyond... If you made it through this video, thank you for watching. Subscribe to see more every single week.